Esther said, okay, that's the last straw. That's in this book, the last straw. You know what they mean by that? You ever heard of the straw that broke the camel's back? Has anybody ever said anything like that to you? Yeah. Sometimes we know that it is the last straw, and then everything's going to happen devastatingly. But hopefully not in this story, because you know it has something to do with Jesus, right? And maybe even the baby Jesus, since it's Christmas Eve. So Hashmakaka the camel was an old camel, and he was asleep in the desert. And you know what happened while he was sleeping? He heard a desert wind going, Hashmakaka, Hashmakaka. And he opened one eye, and he said, why should I wake up? That sounds pretty rumble. The sand whirled up into the moonlit sky. You have been chosen, whispered. The sand seemed to shift again. You will carry gifts to a baby king. Who are you? Hashmakaka wanted to know, for he was an old camel and he felt he had earned his sleep. You will carry frankincense and myrrh and gold. The wise men have chosen you. Hashmakaka got up very slowly. Why me? If these men are so wise, don't they know about my joints, my gout, my sciatica?
Awesome.
How much will all this weigh? Besides, I've got commitments. There's the water drinking competition in Wrangell. Then I really must go to the cud chewing convention in Beamish. The sand blew furiously. Cutting into the black night, Hashmakaka was startled and decided he had better do as the voices said. Who knew what made the sand move like creatures with great wings? When do I start? He asked carefully. Today. With that, the sand voices disappeared, and it was morning. Well, look what morning brought. Gold, frankincense, and myrrh, all loaded on Hashmakaka's back. And then there were some young camels over on the side going, can we come too? Can we come too? Aren't we your friends? We'll walk beside you. Hashmakaka relented, and he said, okay, you can go with me. At noon, a herd of mountain goats came up, and look what they had. Can you tell what they have? They do have big old horns, but they brought something for Hashmakaka to carry to the king. They said, will you carry some milk? Hashmakaka sputtered and sputtered in shock. I'm not a milk-bearing camel. I'm not ordinary like you. The young camels chorused in, no, he's not ordinary. He's as strong as 10 horses. Hashmakaka muttered to himself, my joints, my gout, my sciatica. Aloud he grandly said, but give me your gifts. I'll take them with me to the king. At 1 o'clock he was stopped by a family of millers. Now, do you know what millers are besides Rob and Carol Miller? Rob and Carol Miller are in a long line of people that ground corn. And they wanted to send what to the baby?
Corn. What do you think? What do you think? Corn.
They wanted to send corn. And some of that ground millet was going to go with them in their bags. And he said, you'll just have to walk. Those bags are too heavy for me. But he finally relented. And he let him put the bags on top of them. Well, you probably can guess the rest of the story, can't you? Everybody that came up had something they wanted Hashmakaka to carry to the king. There was fine silk. There was an old man who gave him some rare birds to take to the king. And at 4 o'clock, some merchants gave him pillars of oak that came all the way from Lebanon. That's getting pretty heavy for a camel who's got gout and sciatica. At 5 o'clock, a group of bakers came with their pastries. At 6 o'clock, the sun finally went down and he got a chance to rest. But he was afraid he couldn't get up again. getting pretty loaded down, isn't he? Hashmakaka gratefully sank into the sand. In the kind darkness, he didn't have to pretend he was as strong as 10 horses. Hashmakaka became aware that it didn't seem as dark as usual. He looked up, and what do you think he saw?
I thought I was a Sunday school teacher. What? A what? Say it louder.
A star! Yes, there was a star, wasn't there? Guiding them, right? But as the sun rose over the desert hills, it was hard to remember the wonder of the star, for the new day brought new pains and new burdens for Hashmakaka. Oh my gout, oh my sciatica, oh my joints, I'm too loaded down, my legs are going to give way. Word of a caravan had spread like the sand, and look at all those people bringing stuff for him to carry to the king. Oh, pile it on. He was ready for it as long as he didn't stop. He thought he would be okay. Then the youngest general cried out, "Look! There it is! There's Bethlehem." There it was, right before them. So they only had a few more steps. He thought he could make it if he didn't stop. Hashmakaka looked down at a tiny child. "Please, child, no more gifts. It has no weight. It's long and light," the little child said. "It's for the king who's born this night. It's little," the child added. "Too little is too much," Hashmakaka whispered. "Didn't I hear them say you were as strong as 10 horses?" asked the child. "Well, yes, I am, sort of, but my joints, my gout, my sciatica." Hashmakaka looked into the child's eyes, and his heart melted. "Yes, child, give it to me. This smaller than smaller gift. What harm can it do? It's for his bed." What do you think it was? Straw. And this time Hashmakaka had kept walking because he knew if he stopped, he couldn't start again. You ever feel like that? Now, he could see that the star shone down upon a lowly stable. "Child, do it now. Place your straw upon my back as I approach the new king." And with that straw, he went in kneeling. And as he kneeled, the wise men copied him. They did as he did, and they knelt down. And guess what they found? What did they find, Dylan? A baby in a manger, and he probably needed that straw to make his bed more comfortable. The wise men noticed Hashmakaka. Quickly, they too knelt. "They're mocking me, falling on their knees, heads bent over like gnarled old trees." Then, from the humble manger, a tiny hand reached out and touched Hashmakaka. His pain seemed to disappear. He could no longer feel his burden. Hashmakaka whispered to the baby, "Hosanna," from Hashmakaka. "Accept these gifts kindly. They come from far and wide, brought by a beast who once acted blindly." From that time on, there was no burden, great or small, that Hashmakaka would not gladly carry. He had learned to be a yes candle, hadn't he? And do the jobs that needed to be done to bring glory to the king. A night long, long ago. And we can do the same. We can say yes, can't we, to the things that God wants us to do to bring him glory.